Are you tired of feeling undervalued and underpaid at your job? It's time to take control of your career and negotiate a higher salary or raise. Don't let fear hold you back. With the right tools and techniques, you can confidently advocate for your worth and secure a fair and mutually beneficial deal. Welcome to the Wealth Pulse. In this video, we'll show you how to negotiate like a pro and boost your income. In addition to the tips and techniques we will cover in this video, we have also included some great resources in the description below. Be sure to check them out for more information and guidance on negotiating a higher salary or raise. Now, it's time to take control of your career and learn how you can boost your earning potential. Let's get started. Tip number 1. Do your research. Before you even start the negotiation process, it's important to do your homework and understand the market value of your position and skills. This will give you a better sense of what you can reasonably ask for and help you make a more compelling case for a higher salary or raise. There are a number of resources available for researching salary data, such as salary surveys, industry associations, and online job boards. You can also network and get insights from people in similar roles to see what they're earning. By knowing the going rate for your field, you'll be in a much stronger position to negotiate. Tip number 2. Know your worth. In order to negotiate effectively, you need to be clear about your accomplishments, skills, and contributions to the company. This means having concrete examples and metrics to back up your case for a higher salary or raise. For example, if you've increased sales or improved efficiency in your department, be sure to quantify those achievements and highlight how they've benefited the company. By being able to clearly demonstrate your value to the organization, you'll be in a better position to negotiate a higher salary or raise. In addition to having a strong case, it's also important to have confidence in yourself and your worth. Negotiation can be intimidating, but by believing in yourself and your abilities, you'll be able to present yourself more effectively and negotiate from a position of strength. If you're feeling uncertain or nervous, try practicing your pitch with a friend or mentor. Or consider seeking out negotiation training or coaching to boost your confidence. Tip number 3. Make a plan. Before you even begin the negotiation, it's important to be strategic and have a clear plan in mind. This means setting a specific and realistic target salary or raise that you want to negotiate for, and considering any non-monetary benefits that may be important to you, such as additional vacation time or flexible work arrangements. It's also a good idea to have a backup plan in case the negotiation doesn't go as you hope. For example, you might consider negotiating for non-monetary benefits if a higher salary or raise is not possible at this time. Or you might ask for a larger raise at a later date. By being prepared and having a plan, you'll be in a stronger position to negotiate effectively and achieve your goals. In addition to setting a target and having a backup plan, it's also important to consider the timing of the negotiation. For example, if your employer is in the midst of a hiring freeze or budget constraints, it may not be the best time to ask for a raise. On the other hand, if you've recently completed a successful project or received a positive performance review, this could be a good time to negotiate for a higher salary or raise. It's also important to avoid the appearance of greed or entitlement, and to show appreciation for the opportunities and support your employer has provided. By considering the timing and being mindful of your employer's needs and constraints, you'll be more likely to reach a mutually beneficial agreement. Tip number 4. Practice your pitch. Rehearsing and role-playing the negotiation with a friend or mentor can be a helpful way to prepare for the real thing. By practicing your pitch, you'll be able to get a feel for the conversation and iron out any kinks in your argument. It's also a good idea to be prepared for common objections and counter-arguments, as well as to have a plan for how to respond to them. For example, if your employer cites budget constraints as a reason for not being able to offer a higher salary or raise, you might suggest alternative solutions, such as negotiating for a non-monetary benefits or asking for a larger raise at a later date. In addition to being prepared, it's also important to stay calm and professional during the negotiation. Getting flustered or angry will not help your case and can actually make the situation worse. By remaining calm and focused, you'll be more likely to achieve a positive outcome. If you're enjoying the content so far, make sure to hit that subscribe button to stay up to date on all our future videos. By subscribing, you'll be supporting our channel and helping us create even more great content. Now back to our topic. Tip number 5. Negotiate in person, if possible. If possible, it's generally a good idea to negotiate in person, as this can help you build rapport and establish trust with your employer. In-person negotiation also allows you to use body language and nonverbal cues to convey confidence and assertiveness. For example, maintaining eye contact and using a firm handshake can help you object a sense of confidence and conviction. It's also important to consider the setting and atmosphere of the negotiation and choose a location that is neutral and conducive to productive conversation. Tip number 6. Consider the timing. Timing is also an important factor in salary negotiation. For example, if your employer is in the midst of a hiring freeze or budget constraints, it may not be the best time to ask for a raise. On the other hand, if you've recently completed a successful project or received a positive performance review, this could be a good time to negotiate for a higher salary or raise. It's also important to avoid the appearance of greed or entitlement, and to show appreciation for the opportunities and support your employer has provided. Tip number 7. Use your leverage. Knowing your leverage in the negotiation is also key. This means being aware of your qualifications, market value, and the demand for your skills. If you have a lot of experience and expertise in your field, or if there is a shortage of people with your skills, you may have more leverage in the negotiation. On the other hand, if you're just starting out, or if there's a surplus of people with your skills, you may have less leverage. It's important to be realistic about your leverage and to negotiate accordingly. If necessary, be prepared to walk away from the negotiation if the offer isn't fair or reasonable. Tip number 8. Don't be afraid to ask for more. While it's important to be realistic and considerate in salary negotiation, it's also important to be bold and advocate for your own interest. Don't be afraid to ask for more than you initially thought you could get, as long as it's within reason and based on the market value for your position and skills. Keep in mind that you're not just negotiating for yourself, but for your future and your long-term career goals. By being open to compromise, but also being willing to negotiate for what you want, you can find a mutually beneficial solution that works for both you and your employer. It's also important to be persistent and persevering in negotiation. This doesn't mean being pushy or aggressive, but rather being willing to continue the conversation and explore different options until you reach an agreement that is fair and satisfactory for both parties. If the negotiation hits a stalemate, it may be helpful to take a break and come back to it later, or to seek outside advice or mediation if necessary. With persistence and perseverance, you can achieve a positive outcome in your salary negotiation. Tip number 9. Don't sell yourself short. It's important to remember that you are worth what you're asking for in a salary negotiation. Don't undervalue your own worth and skills, or sell yourself short by accepting an offer that is significantly lower than your target or the market value for your position. Know your minimum acceptable offer, and be prepared to walk away from the negotiation if necessary. If you're feeling uncertain or unsure of your worth, consider seeking outside advice or support from a mentor, coach, or a professional organization. And finally, tip number 10. Follow up and document. After the negotiation, it's important to follow up either to confirm the agreement or to negotiate further if necessary. It's also a good idea to document the agreement in writing, either through an email or a formal contract, in order to ensure clarity and protect your interest. If you're negotiating a raise, be sure to ask for a timeline and any specific conditions or benchmarks that need to be met. Thanks for joining us in this video on salary negotiation. We hope you've learned some valuable tips and techniques to help you confidently negotiate a higher salary or raise. Remember, negotiating is a challenging but rewarding process, and it's important to be prepared, confident, and strategic. Don't be afraid to advocate for your own interest and negotiate a fair and mutually beneficial deal. And remember, salary negotiation is an ongoing process, so continue to hone your skills and negotiate throughout your career. With practice and perseverance, you can achieve your financial goals and advance your career. Thank you for watching. We hope these tips and techniques help you to confidently negotiate a higher salary or raise and achieve a successful and mutually beneficial outcome. Good luck with your salary negotiation.